about an hour and a half before I got a phone call. So let's knock this out, and then next on Thursday we'll do the floating version of this. So this is going to be the ship in a bottle. I'm sitting down now, so sound is on. Okay, good. All right. What do we want to do next? So, you know, you got to get up here and you got to steer this thing. So let's give it some stairs in here. And then also in here is like usually like the captain's quarters and stuff like that. So I'm going to do Shift D to turn off dynamic, and I'm going to reconfigure this just a little bit. So I'm going to go into solo mode here, and I'm going to go ahead and crease. Let's see, crease edge loop complete here. And I'm going to go through and delete some of these edges. So we're going to go insert single edge loop, hold down Alt, and I'm just going to kill these edges because I want this to kind of go straight back. Control Alt drag, W. I'm going to kind of scale this in the Z and Y direction and then move this down. So now basically I've got a front and a back, and if this is going to go forward, I don't mind that curved here, but I'm going to go ahead and flatten this out. So Control Alt, and I'm just going to flatten here, and we'll just move this up just a bit. So we ZRemesh this earlier today, and that's on YouTube. And then hold on just a second, making sure stupid. Making sure I don't miss something. Okay, so now that we have this a little bit easier to move, I'm going to go through here and I'm going to say mask. Yeah, let's push this back just a little bit. So I'm going to say mask, edge loop complete. We're going to tap here, control tap to invert that. Set to world axis here and just scooch this back. It doesn't have to be flat or anything like that. I don't mind it being at an angle, but just something to kind of separate these two. So now I want to put maybe stairs, or I can even just do railings if I want to do railings. Or not railings, but let's go in here to BI. Where's the big one? Nope. BI brush insert. I changed the model toolkit. Your icon won't look like that. Hey, am I on the right thing here? Pav mic, yeah. Oh. Hey. Excellent. I don't know if how ninja I really am, but you'll see a little peek behind the ninja curtains here. So we got this, and like I said, if we go in here to BI brush insert model toolkit, there is little handles in here, so I can say which one of these will work. Probably this one. So I can go through here. We have X symmetry turned on, so I can literally just kind of stack some handles on here. And again, it's cute. It's cute. You know, it's like a little toy ship, which is totally fine. So I can hit W and I can just move this up, control drag down a little bit, and then just maybe pop a couple more in there. So now I've got little handles climbing up. Maybe that's what we want to go with. I'll keep them there just in case. If we want to do something a little more robusto, let's see what I got. This is our original block out, and this is our cleaned up block out. So really, if I want to Boolean something, it needs to be a solid mesh. So this would be the one I would want to modify. Modifying this one would be a little bit tricky. Maybe. Think. If I want to push stairs back here, I mean, I guess I can just model some stairs, right? Yeah, let's use QMesh. So we're going to go in here to insert multiple edge loops, and I'm just going to plop some edges in here. And you know, let's just, for the heck of it, let's do alternating polygroups here. So if I do alternating, maybe I can put some big fat stairs in here, although that didn't really alternate very well. Let's go polygroup, polyloop. I'm going to overwrite these here. That's by tapping Alt. So now we have alternating polygroups here. And then if I want to put a door in the middle, I can probably just ZModeler that back. Possibly. Is this getting tricky? Am I gonna mess myself up? Because if I want to, I'm already having a hard time. Let's see what this does. I don't know. Extrude, all polygons. My brain kind of wants to go into, let's go ahead and flip these. My brain wants to go into ZRemesher mode just in Booleans, just because I know that'll be a lot simpler. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's undo all that. Oops, and redo one. So we can kind of leave that sitting here, but I'm going to hide it temporarily. I'm going to shoot this to the top here and then move it down. I'm going to look through these solid pieces here. So here's an example of a solid piece here, and instead of this big curve, let's say I want to sharpen this up a little bit. So how I can do that is I can go in here and I'm just going to put down a cube mid and, whoa, put down a cube mid. That was weird. I'm going to scooch this back and then I'm going to scale this out. So now if I go through here and do a split mask points, hold on just a second. Okay. Let's go turn this off and let's turn everything off except for this. And I'm going to say move this down below and we're going to set this to subtractive, go in here to live Boolean. So now I'm going to control with this thing that slope here. So I'm going to hold down Control Alt. Actually, let's go there. Insert solo mode. Insert single edge loop, hold down Alt. Let's get rid of those. So now if I want this to kind of lean back a bit, I can, and we're just going to kind of cut this here. And we'll move this up just a smidge. Okay, something like that I think I can play with. And then if I want to put stairs on here, let's think about this. Stairs on either side. We're going to do Booleans for that too. So I'm going to, let's go out here. I'm going to grab I'm just going to grab a regular old cube here and let's put it right on here. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I have brush modifiers, projection strength up to 100. That's why it's being weird. There we go. So go ahead and split these mask points and we'll move these down below and I'm going to set these also to subtractive in just a second, but first I'm going to make them into stairs so we can kind of step these back just a bit. Boolean stairs. So we'll go into solo mode here. I know this is the bottom. Let's make this so we can see a little bit easier. I'm going to say insert multiple edge loops. I'm going to see if I can't step these back here. So I'm going to say Alt and pull over these and we're going to say extrude polygroup all. And we're going to say extrude you back a bit and then grab these ones, extrude you back a bit, these ones, and this one. Close enough. Let's go ahead and do a group by normals just so I have polygroups where I need them. And we're going to say, oops. And we're going to say push these back and I'm going to put this at the very bottom. So the math order will cut through. And again, I will need to turn this to subtractive. So as I push these back, that'll go ahead and cut in some stairs here. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be close. And now I can go through here and I can modify like, oh, you know what? Just the stairs up to here. Is that enough stairs? Are they deep enough? Do I need to scale them back a little bit, give them a little more foothold? So now they can walk up and then if I turn everything else back on, they can walk up here and then go around and they can steer the ship. And then I can put a door also in the middle. So let's turn everything else back off. Let's work on that. So we have this and this here. Right? What did I miss? Subtractive, did I move this? Move this down a bit. Oh, turn this off. There we go. Okay. Where was I? What is this piece? Oh, yeah. And that also needs to be subtractive. So we're cutting straight back and then we're doing this. And then I want to cut a door into here and I can maybe use that geometry. Okay, easy enough. So I'm going to steal this piece of geometry. I'm going to duplicate it off. We're going to set it to subtractive again. It's going to be the last operation for my Boolean. So I'm going to scale this in. If we want to see what we're doing, we can also turn on polyframe so we can kind of see how this is going. And hold down Control Alt, and I want to pull it along this angle. So I'm going to hold down Alt here. It's going to solo mode. And if I click and drag here, it's going to transpose mode. That's it. Oops. Transpose mode is Y. So W, Y to go into transpose, and if I use transpose I can click here and then click here, it'll snap, and then if I hit hit Y again, that'll go down there, and then, sorry, My brain. And then we can just scooch right along that edge here. So now I can turn off polyframe. We can scale this in. We can push this in. I'm going to push this straight back now. And that will go ahead and give me unmask. This needs to be moved down. Unmask. Then we can move it in. Oh my gosh. So low. Polyframe. What am I doing wrong? I'm actually going to get rid of this midline. Insert single edge loop. Hold down Alt. Geometry modify topology, mirror and weld. W. Reset. Here. Boolean subtractive. Turn it on. There we go. Silly, silly, silly. So that'll be kind of an entrance to a door here, and I can go ahead and put a door in front of it or something like that, but at least it'll give me something. So here is my new ship shape. I'm going to go hold down Alt and tap here. I'm going to hit D for dynamic. I'm going to crease. Let's do a crease tolerance too, and we'll say smooth subdiv all the way up, crease level 15, nice and sharp. So when I create the Boolean mesh, I'll have a lot of surfaces I can hopefully ZRemesh and pull from. This looking correct? Everybody cross your fingers for me. We're going to go down here to Boolean, dynamic subdivision, make Boolean mesh. This will make my U mesh. Which is here. So now I need to clean this up just a little bit. So we're gonna hold down Control Shift. I'm gonna grab this one, make it all one poly group. Actually, let's grab this one. I want these to be a separate poly group. Control W. And then I probably should have been more careful, but while I have it in this mode, I can go in here to group by normals, and then I'll go ahead and group these by normals. So now I can grab these. So these will all be one poly group. This should all be one poly group. I'm just trying to make sure all my poly groups are in order. So when I go through here in ZRemesh, I'll get a decent result. Doesn't have to be a great result. Geometry modified topology, mirror and weld across the X. Perfect. And then I don't think this will work, but let's try it. Half, depth size down to 0. Keep smooth groups down to 0, and we'll give it a shot. Hey everybody. Well, thank you, Upfinder. You're very kind. Brad Jensen. Is that the Brad Jensen? Age your booty. That's okay. That is that Brad. Answered that question. Kind of. Yeah. In fact, anybody not in the know? Brad used to work at Certain Affinity, and at Certain Affinity a long time ago, we made a lot of pirate stuff. And one of those pirate things, I do have my ArtStation page. So here's Blackjack, Bigwig, my favorite, Filthy McScuppers. So we got I don't know where these characters are anymore. I need to probably at work somewhere. But anyway, if you want to check those out, there's the ArtStation page. If you want to get caught up on where we are, since I wasn't planning on streaming right now, but if you go to my YouTube channel underneath my playlists, there's a big blue genie here, and then here's all my live streams, and there's part 1 of the pirate ship that we did this morning. So you can check that out. So Michael Pavlovich. Yeah, and we're live. So you can click on here and go for it. But I always like to be on my playlist just in case I need to pop some links to you. Mizumi, hey! What do you think about 3D code? If you tried it as a word learning, if you're already decent at ZBrush, maybe. I've never bothered just because ZBrush does, I think, everything I need. There's nothing wrong with having more tools in your tool belt, so sure, nothing wrong with it. Yeah, of course. So, okay, actually, this did a fantastic job. Everybody give it up for ZRemesh. Let's make this all one poly group now. Let's push our luck. Half. Because, I mean, it's looking at a lot of poly groups, and it's trying to figure out a bunch of different angles, and it is doing the most bang-up job I could ever hope for. So I'm just going to keep stressing it. Yeah, I mean, hell, that'll work. I can clean a little bit of the stuff up, so let's go Geometry Modified Topology, Mirror, and Weld. And you don't have to go this low with anything, but I figured I might as well. So to get this point over here to this point, actually it looks like this I was going to say we could start collapsing, but really all we need to do is just move these pieces apart. So it did a good job. There might have been a little thing I should have collapsed in here to alleviate that. That kind of made this not great. But we can fix this. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, let's go to my slice ZModeler brush here, and I'm just going to click on this point, and I'm going to click on this point, and that'll slice across. Let's do an uncrease all, and now I can just delete edge. We're going to say delete this edge. Oop. Oh boy. Okay, so this actually isn't. Same thing on the other side. If we go in here and we move, these points are separate. Okay, I mean, that's not terrible. Still have X symmetry turned on. So that's fine. That's actually better. And then on this side here, again, we can go in here and we can go back to our slice ZModeler. And all it is just a ZModeler cloned off, set up for slicing to point or edge to edge, which we went over in the last video. So uncrease all, and now all I got to do is go in here, and now I should be able to delete edge here. Ugh, well, actually we don't need, I mean, I guess the reason it's being weird is it's not going to result in a quad, but we can just bridge edges. We can say bridge you to you, and then you to you. Maybe. Oh, you know what? That's not a mirrored operation. Mirror, mirror, and weld. There we go. That's why it was being weird. And then here to here, and then here to here. Let's make both of these all one polygroup here. And then if we want to resolve these edges by going all the way down and connecting those up, we can, but I think I can live with this. I'm not going to sweat that too much here. Alrighty, so, and I can steal all this geometry for making a door. Perfect. So we have a new boat. So let's go ahead and go back to our other mesh here. So we don't need this one we don't need any of these anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and say delete, delete, delete. Very carefully hitting delete, because you accidentally hit delete twice, you're going to delete more than you want. And then I'm going to go in here. Even this top part, we don't need anymore. We fixed all this. So we're going to delete that out of our scene. This one I think is just placeholder. We'll keep it around just in case. And then I'm going to go in here to insert. And we're just going to grab that U mesh. So there's our new U mesh. Everything all decked out. So this will swoop up here, and then we got a little front part. And you know what? Looking at this, I'm going to make this all metal. All this trim around here is going to be all metal, and we're going to put rivets down here. How cute do we want to get with this? Because we can put rivets. We can do some pretty cool stuff with rivets. Rivets. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and delete this trim. We've made this trim 3 times, 4th time's a charm. Maybe it's the 3rd time. So we have planks out here that we can rebuild these planks if we need to. Let's do Shift D on here. So there's our placeholder planks, which I think we can just kind of keep. And then here's our filler on the inside that has all of our geometry we want to mess around with. So if we want to do railings, yeah, because actually, I mean, I kind of like the fact that these planks are kind of giving the stairs a little bit of cover. The problem is I'm going to have to go back to in order to make those railings, I'm going to go back to my original slice mesh. Not a huge deal. I'm going to duplicate this off. Glad I kept it around, because what I need to do now is I'm going to Control Shift, grab this one. I'm going to say delete hidden, ZRemesh, depth size down to 0, target polygon count of 5. Make sure X symmetry is turned on. Let's go ahead and turn off live Boolean. I'll let that go. Cool. Slice ZModeler brush. You made it, or is it by default? You know what? It is in ZBrush by default. So you go in here to brush, ZModeler. There is a ZModeler slice and ZModeler topology already set up for you. So if you want to move those to your auto-loaded brushes, you can just assign a hotkey to those. And then you have 3 actions per hotkey as opposed to just 1. So again, ZRemesh half here, and that'll come in handy. So now I've got basically where I want to put this railing. So let's go through here. Let's do a quick extrude polygroup all. We're just going to pull this in. We're going to display properties flip, which is way down here. Display properties flip. So now I have a little surface to pull this railing out, and I kind of want this railing to go all the way to the front, all the way to the back. Basically, everywhere it's purple is where I want railing. And in fact, I can take this out one, and then we can hold down Shift and just pull along that surface here. So basically, in order to get this purple a little bit easier, I'm going to say Insert here, It's gonna, oops, we'll say insert single. You can do insert multiple edge loops, keep polygroup and put one right down the middle. Just boop, and then Control Shift Tap, and then geometry modify topology. Yep. Delete hidden, and then we'll go through here and we'll extrude out a little bit, and then we'll go underneath. Oh, what's all this? We're going to say extrude, polygroup all, and then as I do that, I'm going to tap Alt. I shouldn't have to do that, but I don't know, it was freaking me out. And then we're going to hold down Shift and just travel along that surface normal. So now I have railing here. This railing kind of twists along here, which I could probably fix. Can I fix that? Let's say delete hidden. Let's go in here to insert single edge loop. I'm going to get rid of this one. And let's simplify this a bit around here. So I'm going to go like every other one just to have fewer points to have to worry about here. We're going to simplify this geo. So maybe I can kind of twist this geometry back here. So I'm going to hold down Control. Might probably more elegant way to do that, but or just do it right the first time. But I'm not really known for that, am I? We're going to rotate this back. Brute force here. I'll rotate this back. And we can flatten this out, but I think it's got a little bubbly look. And in fact, I mean, if we really want to flatten this out temporarily, we can just go through here and we can get rid of all these points or all these edges here. So now it's like, hey, it's flat. And then really, you just need to twist 4 verts here. So unmash mesh center and just rotate this here. And then if you want to put that back, you can say insert multiple edges. But let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, we can manually just move that back into place. So it does kind of bow out. So insert multiple edge loops, keep polygroup. We're just going to kind of put these back. Now that it's flattened, and then we'll get in here with a big old brush and just kind of tweak it out. Yoink, yoink, yoink. A little better here. And yeah, my original Boolean did kind of dip down a little bit, which probably doesn't make a ton of sense, but we'll roll with it. I'm not going to sweat the details here. All right, so extrude, polygroup all up. We'll meet that rigging there. And then maybe on the bottom here, we'll just pull this down just a bit. So now all of this can be metal. Another thing we can do, let's go ahead and crease. Let's go into solo, and we're going to go here. Again, if you want to keep smoothing this out, we're going to go to crease, edge loop complete, and there's all these corners here. And I am going to have to hop off at 11:25, FYI, just in case. So here, and now if I just do a deformation polish by features, I can just tap that, and that'll go ahead and anywhere it's not creased, which I probably want to crease this here. Anywhere it's not creased, it'll go ahead and smooth between those features, which in this case is like a polygroup border, and that'll kind of smooth all that out, and you can keep tapping that as much as you'd like. All right, so we have new railing, it's all contiguous, and now I can go through here and do whatever I need to do. Now let's see also, I'm also going to put a big old rail down the bottom middle of this ship. So luckily, I still have my working file here. And so I'm going to say duplicate this off. I'm just going to grab the bottom of the pink here, geometry modify topology, delete hidden. I do have geometry. I can like straighten this geometry out probably, but I can also just go in here to slice. I'm going to slice one side, geometry modify topology, mirror and weld, isolate just the pink, delete hidden. I've been having trouble with slice this episode, but I think we're okay. Auto groups, just so I can grab it because it has some extra pieces of geometry hanging out. So I just want this bottom one here. Delete hidden, half ZRemesher, don't need to keep groups on, and just half. That'll work. And if I want to not have that, I can say just a quick insert, Alt, and then geometry modify topology, mirror and weld, and then we'll come back in here and extrude this out. So that way we have a line through here, and I can make this thicker or thinner depending on what I want to do, but at least the geo's there. So now resolving. Let's put some doors on here. Just a couple big plank doors with maybe some big iron round hinges, right? So what's a good way to do that using this geometry? Well, obviously I can kind of pull this yellow out. That seems like it makes the most sense. So let's duplicate this off, isolate this. I'm just eyeballing it just in case I want to change my mind. Delete hidden, I want it to open from both sides. Luckily we're mirrored, so we can just literally go in here and just say bevel Edge loop complete. We'll just pop that open a little bit. Geometry modify topology, delete hidden. And now we got some big old doors. Extrude, polygroup all. If I do want to extrude this straight out, do I want to extrude it straight out? I kind of want to follow the surface normal, so this will actually work fine. So we got some big doors in here that can kind of swing open. I mean, again, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to put hinges in there and make sure it can open, but maybe, yeah, we'll leave those there for now. And then, you know, we can hop in here and grab a ring, just a custom insert mesh brush of the simplest type, and we'll just say split mask points. And those can just be door handles. So we'll scooch this along here. Cool. And then, yeah, those can just be textured as needed. So we have this, it's going up here. And let's go ahead and make planks for the top that can kind of overhang just a bit. So again, I'm going to duplicate this thing off again. I'm getting a lot of use out of this. Delete hidden. I think I can just use a pre-existing geo. I don't need to slice and ZRemesh. I think we can just go through here and just hold down Control Alt. And then I'm just going to kind of Z scale, in this case, X scale. Local symmetry turned on. We'll kind of straighten that out. And now I can literally just go through here. Maybe this one too. Here, you, straighten out. So now I can say you are a polygroup and you, Control Shift X to expand, are a polygroup. Will those work for wood? Does that make sense for wood? I don't really like that. So let's do this. Let's say, let's straighten this last one out here. You will be straightened out. Scooch that over just a bit. All right, you're straightened out. And then now you will all be one polygroup. There we go. And in fact, I can actually turn off X symmetry and we'll make this one polygroup. A little bit smaller planks, but now, yeah, that'll work. Now let's see if this works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Usually it does in this type of scenario. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go to panel, edge loop, panel loops, polish down, thickness up, elevation at 0 so it goes forward and back. Or maybe we just want it to go straight out. So let's go elevation 100. Bevel down a bit, and then we'll play around with the thickness. And also, we don't need that many loops. We'll just say 1. I can always add more loops later. So we'll go through here. Yeah, I think that'll work. Looks like it worked just fine. Like I said before, I'm going to have these overhang just a bit. So I'm going to scoot this back to the back, and then I'm just going to kind of push those out. So now they kind of overhang just a bit. And I can go through there and make them a little more stylized, funky. I don't need these little climbing things. So now that we've made stairs, I think that's a good decision. So we'll go ahead and delete those out of our scene. You can still have them if you wanted to put them like up the side of the boat so you can climb on. That's totally fine. But I think that'll work. And again, even these things, I can pop these off into their own subtools and make those into wood planks too. Again, we're in good shape. I'm just trying to look for little things I may want to make in order to kind of sell this. I need to resolve this a little bit better. This looks a little hacky. Oh, excellent. Are using Blender also. I use Blender to render sometimes. I don't model in there too much. I have trouble when moving verts with ZModeler and holding shift to constrain it on one axis. It always works only on one axis. Like if it works horizontally, it won't work vertically. ZModeler, shift to constrain. I'm not sure I follow. So if you want to move a vert, I mean, if you do want to constrain it to, you can always go in here to slide, and that'll constrain it to the surface. But if you want to move a vert, you can go in here to just move, but then, you know, it's going to be constrained to basically your camera view. And of course, you can have depth, infinite depth turned on if you want to move and constrain, you know, straight back along an entire surface of an object. I'm trying to think of other ways to constrain. I mean, you can also use your gizmo. So you can go through here and then you can just say transpose point. That'll just unmask that point, and then you can just literally use your gizmo to constrain this in any direction that you want. It's a little bit meh, masking, and you can do the same thing with masking and stuff too, but something like that. Yeah, quick 90-minute stream. The way you push a vert at first will determine on which axis will snap. I'm not sure. What was Dress talking about? mean, Dress is way smarter than me, so we're not calling him a liar. I'm just not sure. So you can move. So shift, slide. So we're moving by brush radius. Shift is axis aligned. So if we shift this one, and then if we start moving this way, no, it doesn't. I mean, one thing you can do is you can hold down Alt, and that'll move it along the other axis. I mean, that's just with the move brush too. If you go into move and you hold down Alt, it'll move along its normal. So maybe Alt. Oh yes, you know, I need to model some sharks too. Parrots, sharks, eye patches. I don't know if I can put a character on here, but certainly we can make a shark. I mean, because I need stuff floating around in here. So how am I going to do a shark? First thing I need to do is image search a shark, because I am not a smart man, and I need to know what a shark silhouette looks like. So can we get a shark side view, please? Yeah, we can. All right. Image, save image as. We'll just throw this right. Let's throw it on our desktop. I don't think I'll need the shark reference in my reference folder. Okay, and then turn off live Boolean. Quick save. Whenever I hop out of the main file, I like to do a quick save because that saves the project with everything in it. And then, oh, this will be fun. We'll do it this way. I was going to say you can bring in an image and just use that, but we can also do this. So let's go in here to ZPlug. Texture, select, import. I'm just going to grab desktop, stock photo. Texture, grab the shark, add it to our spotlight, crank that Z intensity down. So we're going to use something called control mesh balloon. So as long as you start on a mesh, and it can be any mesh, if you hit W and you say, I want a little bit easier if this is a cube, just turn it into a cube. And then we'll scale this up just a bit so we can see it a little bit better. Did I say cube? You know, sphere is fine. Anyway, so we got this here, and I want to make the body of the shark. So control mesh balloon. As long as you start on the mesh, you can hold down control and start masking. And then, oh man. I'm going to hold down control, go into stroke, turn off lazy mouse. So I want to start masking this shark, right? Well, I'm going to start making the stroke over the mesh. I'm going to hold down spacebar and move it back to the tail, and then I'm just going to kind of mask where, oh man, the shark body is. Yoink. And then I can go through here and I can move. But if I want to keep adding stuff to this, don't move your camera, because you can hold down control. Oh, did I hold down shift? I didn't. So before you do this, we have you can have X symmetry turned on. But if you want it down the center axis before, so again, start dragging off your mask. And let's see if I can make this a little bit better. Can't lift my wrist off the Wacom tablet. Here, and then before I let go, I'm going to hold down shift, and that's going to pop it right to the middle. And then I want to do the fin right down the middle, so I'm going to hold down control and then start dragging over my mesh. And before I drop, I'm going to hold down shift and kind of does a crappy job. That's fine. In fact, we can do another type for that. So let's hold down control and let's go in here to mesh extrude. So down on the top here, we're going to say, again, turn off lazy mouse. We're going to go through here, and before I let go, we're going to hold down shift, and that's going to put it towards the middle, but I am going to move my camera because I don't want it to keep adding to this one. So there it is, right down the middle. And then same thing for the fin here. Let's go over here and inflate this. There we go. And then again, hold down control, start dragging over the mesh. We're going to go ahead and make the shark tail. Crappy job. We're going to make the shark tail and then hold down shift so it goes to the middle. And then now the fins, we're going to drag this out, but I'm not going to hold down shift because I want fins on either side. And then these little, what do they call those? Rectal fins or whatever. I'll put a little thing up here. Oh, these aren't, but this one is. So I'm going to hold down shift before I let go. Or maybe not. There we go, down the middle. Okay. So now, unmask everything. Let's go ahead and use our move brush. We can just isolate the body too if we want to move just the body here. Again, multiple ways you could have done this. You could have just used primitives. I don't know. I thought it would be fun to use this a little bit. If we want to clean this up, we can go in here to Polish by Features Open Circle and just tap that a couple times. Here, And we'll scooch this over. So we're looking good. I'm going to go ahead and change this to knife curve and do a quick save. We can also Boolean this out, but we'll give it a shot. So we're going to go through here. And yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Let's bring everything else back. Let's append a cube. And then on this cube here, I'm going to say group by normals. So whenever this happens, this is a feature. For some reason, occasionally your focal shift will end up at 0. Put that down to -100. That'll get rid of that. It's a cool feature, but can be annoying sometimes if you're not expecting it. And can we skew this? Let's go in here to deformer. Make this a very simple deformer. I'm gonna hold down Control Alt, these two, and we're gonna hit W and just skew that back. And then we'll go back into Gizmo. And we'll rotate it. So, put this back in here. I want to stick this right in the shark mouth here. Maybe scale this down a bit. Yeah. All right. Boolean. Live Boolean. Turn off polyframe. Turn off LSIM. Turn this on so I can see it. Shift C to turn that off. And we have a shark. Yeah, man, this will work. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm just going to Dynamesh all this together. Why not? Oh, before I do that, this is these little hangdog here. So I'm going to take these here, say Control Shift A, switch this over. Let's mask this, and then we'll just pop this in here. Yoink, yoink. And instead, you know what? Instead of Dynameshing this together, let's play around a little bit. Okay, first of all, I need to get rid of this little doodad here. So I'm going to say Control Shift Drag, Control Shift A, and then you know what? We'll do this. Control Shift, select lasso over everything except for that little thing, and then we'll say delete hidden. So now I do have polygroups on this thing that I may want to ZRemesh and use to my advantage. I don't know. Let's see how it works. I'm going to do a quick geometry modify topology mirror and weld across the x-axis. We have live Boolean turned on. I'm going to go ahead and say Boolean, live Boolean turned on. Boolean make Boolean mesh. That'll spit out a U mesh with an error. You know what? I bet this is overlap geometry. Let's delete that. Fin. Let's say Control Shift. Let's grab both these. Control Shift A. Let's go ahead and say, shoot. Let's do auto groups. W. Control tap one of these. Oh, or is it just because it has a hole in it? To hell with that. Close holes then. What's going on here? Solo mode. Yeah, okay. So it's just going to yell at me because it put holes in there. Well, let's close them up. Let's say bridge edges, because Booleans can't have this. So we're going to go through here. Let's do a group by normals with just this showing here. Control W, group by normals, pretty low, max angle. Yeah, there is some weird damn geometry in here. Damn. Yeah, whenever I went down the middle, it made two versions. I should have had X symmetry turned off. Oh, okay, auto groups. Go in here. Let's grab one of the tails. But it's just lamina. Crap. Fine. Delete hidden. Go back. Give me a second. Thought I was being slick, and turns out I'm just being stupid. So, X symmetry turned off, let's say. Hold down Control. Mesh extrude. Go in here and make a fin. Shift to put it in the middle. Go out of solo mode. Right here, Shift to put it in the middle. Right here, Shift to put it in the middle. Oh, it's not in the middle. All right, you know what else? Let's say I want to try something else, just for fun, right? Append a plane. I should have just done this from the damn start. Here's my plane. I'm gonna rotate it. Let's turn off live Boolean. rotate it here. Make the plane so that it fits my shark. If you want nice even quads, sure, half, depth size down to 0. ZRemesh it if you'd like. We'll subdivide this a couple times, and then we'll just hit delete lower. And now if we want to make a shark fin that is right down the middle, probably slice, you know what, hell with it. Let's just say a mask pin. Let's go to solo mode here. So for this, let's get a little bit more resolution. Yeah, let's hit Control D and then delete lower because we're going to be slicing stuff out of this. So we're going to go up here and we're going to make our fin, and we're going to make whatever this is, and we're going to make whatever this is. Tail. Fill this in, Control Alt Tap. Let's go in here. Let's clean this up just a bit. Let's go in here to Edge Loop Mask Border. Now we have these things: Geometry Modify Topology, Delete Hidden, ZRemesh Half, Depth Size down to 0. And now we have fin stuff. Now, if I go through here and I extrude polygroups, I'm going to push these back just a bit. I'm going to do a Geometry Modify Topology, Mirror and Weld in the X. X symmetry turned on. Go out of solo mode. Got the stuff down the middle. We have live booleans turned on. We have polygroups where I want them. So now if I go through here and say make Boolean mesh, that gave us a UMesh with no errors. It just looks like absolute garbage. Because the whole first piece is doubled up too. Okay. Isolate, delete hidden, Geometry Modify Topology, Mirror and Weld. Let's isolate these and let's see if I can't do a quick, because I want those polygroups. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Group by normals. Fine. I'm just making my life difficult, aren't I? I'm going to simplify these. Control Shift, Geometry Modify Topology, Delete Hidden, ZRemesh Half, Depth Size down. Just make it easier just to kind of extrude back, because I just want polygroups here. So extrude, polygroup all. I don't know why I'm making this so difficult. Flip, Geometry Mod, LSIM turned off, Mirror, Mirror and Weld. Go out of solo mode. So we've got polygroups for that. I'm going to duplicate this off, go back here, because I'm an idiot and I got rid of the body. Delete hidden. So now with all of these, I should be able to go in here and let's try this. Hell, you know what? Let's also make this cleaner. Half ZRemesh. Perfect. So now if I do a UMesh on this, make Boolean mesh. Okay, that's nice and clean. Let's see how this does. Geometry Modify Topology, Mirror and Weld. X symmetry is turned on. ZRemesher, keep groups, smooth groups down to 0. Depth size down a bit. Same. Did okay except for this little part back here. Let's turn off same. Let's say target polygon count of 12,000 just to start with. So all one contiguous organic mesh. Now let's try half. I know it doesn't look great back there, but let's give it a shot. You know, another thing we can do is we can go down here to ZRemesher. You can hold down Alt in ZRemesh. That'll give us a new midline algorithm. Error encountered. Great. We're getting close, man. There's just something going on here. Sometimes when things get weird, I'll go through here and I'll do a weld points, and I'm going to crank this weld distance up quite a bit. And if you really want to shine them on, turn this to a closed circle, and that'll weld the hell out of it. There we go. So I'm just going to get rid of some problematic points in here and see if that doesn't help. This is the old ZRemesher. Nope. Let's say double. I feel like we're close. I mean, that's not terrible. And again, this probably shouldn't even matter that much. You know, and you know, maintaining these polygroups isn't a make or break deal. So worst case scenario, you could just Dynamesh this whole damn thing and call it a day. Which, let's do that. So here, resolution up, Dynamesh. Well, first, before we do that, let's go through here and let's say, let's do our ZRemesher. And let's say crease PG. We're going to do a crease level of 1, smooth subdiv of, wait, did it do a great job? Did I accidentally do a great job? Yeah, that'll work. So if I hold down Shift and just smooth, it's going to kind of really melt my object. If you want to avoid that, hold down Shift, start smoothing, and then let go of Shift. That'll push those verts along the surface. So let's isolate this and just kind of push those along the surface there. All right, we accidentally figured this out. So let's do Shift Z, bring this back. Let's, we have this dynamically smooth. So let's go ahead and apply those subdivisions. And if we put this on the side here, we can just paint on here with this shark mesh. Let's also go in here to V. We have X symmetry turned on, yes. So nose out, a little pointier. And then if you wanted to, you could say, don't turn on RGB for your standard brush, or go into your paintbrush here, go into samples, spotlight projection on, and then you can literally tap L to go out of lazy mouse. You can literally just paint shark here. Might behoove us to go ahead and say, you know what, let's hit C to color fill object. And now when we paint through here, I don't know, you can clean this up a little bit. You get the idea. So you can go through here and you just hit C to sample, and then you can just kind of, and then C here. You can actually go through here and you can do, let's see, what am I thinking about? History, I know what the icon looks like, I just don't remember the name. Sorry, my brain's already starting to go. And it's not even lunchtime yet. There is something called, damn. You hit G on your keyboard and it samples stuff, and then you can just drag it back out. What is it called, Mike? You did videos on it. It was in 2019. ZBrush What's New 2019. Oh man, you think the person doing this would remember stuff? No, it's 2020. In here is a thing called, not history recall, but it's called extractor. Stupid. BX extractor dot, or we'll just do extractor brush. So if I go through here and say BX extractor, and then in your alpha, I believe there is a from brush, which is G. So if I hit, so I'll make my brush size yay big and tap G, and then just kind of roll along my mesh here. I'm going to turn RGB on, and now I can just kind of paint with this on. You can do this exact same thing with B extractor dot. So if I go through here and I'm like, I want to kind of grab, hit G and stamp this, and then go through here and just kind of stamp along here. You can. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's good enough. Again, I'm just kind of looking for shark stuff. Now, again, I can just go in here and I can tap C, and I can change this to like, you can do a spray or a color spray. I'm going to stick with dot stroke and maybe put in a little bit of this alpha. And then I can just go through here and we'll just kind of paint a little bit of gray, and then a little bit of white here, and then a little bit more gray, just kind of model it up. There we go. So at least now I know where the color needs to go. And you know what? Let's do a quick mirror across the X. I guess we are doing it on. Both sides. C. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. C. C. You get the idea. C, and let's turn off this alpha because we're just going to be quick and dirty. C, darker, darker. C, dark tip. C, lighter tip. C, gray. C, whitish. and the white belly. Oops. Sample, sample, sample. And there goes my camera. I'll turn it back on in just a sec. And see. All right, so we've got a shark, skin shader 4. So it's pretty dark, I think. Let's go ahead and lighten this up. Let's go in here to Polypaint, adjust colors, and with everything just showing, I'm gonna crank up the intensity and just kind of go through here. And is there a contrast? RGB contrast, yes. Crank up the intensity, crank up the contrast, hit OK. There we go. And now we have a shark with subdivision history that we can now take into our boat scene. And we can say append our shark. And the cool, ooh, that's a big one. And the cool thing about having a shark with subdivision history is we can go through here and we can say B, let's go in here to bend curve. Oops. Right. We're going to have to freeze transformations, or we can do a transpose mesh. Let's do a quick save and see if this will work. I've never actually tried it before. So quick save. We're going to scale this shark down here. I'm going to try freeze subdivision levels, which should knock me down to subdivision level 1 for the shark. And that'll free me up to go in here and do a bend curve. So we have a curve in here, so I'm going to crank up my resolution. It's in the right axis. You can change the axis using this cone. So here's a little more resolution. So now if I want to go through here and say, you know what, let's scoot this around here. He'll be kind of, sharks go side to side. Maybe not that drastically. There you go. He's kind of going through the water. Like so. Making a little shape like this. We can say, okay, go back to Gizmo. Everything's fine. So now let's unfreeze and see if everything pops back. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, think. I can use Transpose Master for this, but I'd rather not. All right, well, let's undo all that. So we're out of the freeze. So I guess, you know, what I can do is literally just go here, go to lowest, control drag. If you want to have, so if I go really close, it'll be a very sharp mask. Of course, you can control tap to make it broader, but you can also back your camera way up. And so if you want to kind of go through the middle here, that'll kind of give you a nice soft fall off, so we can kind of rotate this around. So he's going to maybe rotate here. And actually, you can also just control drag through here, and then again, control tap to and you could use Z-spheres to kind of pose this thing as well. I'm just trying to keep it simple-ish. Control tap. Set my pivot. There we go. And now we've got a shark kind of swimming along here. Unmask mesh center. Okay. Don't know why we took that tangent. Thought it would be easy. Boy, was I wrong. But we can go and hide that. Quick save. Go back over here. Exactly. You know what? Baby shark. Control drag it out. Scale it down. I'm going to do that. Cool. How many user experience do I have? 20-ish. What do you use for retopo? ZRemesh for a lot of it. And then if honestly, I don't really topologize that much. So if it's human stuff, just snap topology with wrap 3 and call it a day. Alt, not shift. Okay, cool. Excellent. Glad that worked out. If you know really, really basic ZRemesh, will the intro to ZRemesh help me out? Yeah, I think so. There's some intro plus a little bit of intermediate in there. I think so. Delete by symmetry. before ZRemesh maybe. I think, I'm not sure what was, I mean, whenever, this is actually a fairly complicated shape. I'm actually pretty impressed that ZRemesh was able to handle this because this is organic and had very specific, especially when you get onto thin things and little sharp things, it can be a pain, which is understandable. So, and you could manually retopologize this and do a better job, but it gets a little boring too for me on a live stream. Clever to tear the tail and yeah, exactly. Do it, get it close enough, and then, like you say, fix any sharp stuff later is probably your best bet. I agree. Oh yeah, camera on. Here, back on. Sorry about that. I don't know what's up with my camera lately. I don't know if it's the app or what, but there I go. I should pop back in just a second. Accidentally did a good job. Exactly. Happy accidents. It worked. Whew. Wipe the sweat off your brow and act like you meant to do it. That's been my whole career too. In ZBrush, can I do some render animation with camera, like turntable, but with depth of field? Ooh, that's a good one. Yes. Yes. Can you? Because in order to get depth of field, so if I could hit BPR render, you can go in your render passes. You do have a Z depth. So it is capturing your Z depth. So what I don't, yes, you can. Either you can, I'm not sure exactly how to take the Z depth, and if you wanted to render out to frames, like you want to do 300 frames of animation and then comp it later in After Effects or whatever. Yes, probably. But in ZBrush, if you want depth of field with a render, I think when you hit BPR, there's also, remember, there is render. And if you want more on this, this is ZBrush 2019, by the way. So if you need the What's New 2019 with all the filters and stuff, that's this one here. So we'll go ahead and link you here. So 2019 is where you're going to find all this stuff for a deep dive. But underneath render properties, not render properties, way down at the bottom here. Well, not that far. You can turn on filters. So as you're doing this, you can go in here and you can do a blur. And then set it to your Z. I'm sure you can set it to your Z depth because it's capturing that information. So what is my blur set to? Mask blur. I don't remember these though. Blur the mask. I want it to apply only to my object. If you can figure out how to use this to create a depth of field effect on your BPR render, you can BPR render and then do your whole material movie timeline. Modifiers. So go through here, make your cursor size down to 0, however many spin frames you want. Set it to document large, and then you can. And then also go down here to title image, overlay image. Turn the opacity and no fade, 0 fade in time, so you don't have any of that stuff. And then you can hit turntable and it will capture a turntable of this. The Z depth is the hard part. I'm not positive how to do that, but if you can figure out how to do a filter that'll capture Z depth on every BPR, you can set that focal. I'm sure you can. There's depth A and depth B and all that stuff, so it's doable. I just don't know off the top of my head how to do it. But yeah, I think so. Cool. Can ZBrush alone sculpt realistic human characters? Yeah, sure. I think so. Alrighty, so we have a shark, we have a boat, and with the shark selected, again, that's a huge shark. Let's go ahead and scale this down here, and then control drag off a copy. And if you do need to do that with subdivision history, just delete lower, control drag off a copy, and then you can reconstruct. Here, get your subdivisions back, alt tap. Oh, do we have both? I didn't split those off, did I? Well, now we have two sharks. You can split before you do that, but now that we have this one here, we can literally just go here and we can have little baby shark here. Alrighty. What else? Oh yeah, I needed to resolve this front part here. So this looks lame. So let me look at my reference here. I've got like this image here. It just kind of goes in here. These are really cool. This one, the metal kind of comes around and then it kind of fits in here with another thing. In this one, it kind of hugs it. which I kind of like. So let's see if I can't do something with this. I'm going to say, I'm going to make this bigger. So let's go down to the base here. I'm going to Alt-Tap right in the middle. We have X symmetry turned on. So now, first of all, again, if I do want this to kind of hug this, I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to make it kind of wider. And I'm going to make it shorter. And then, God, do I want to clip? No, maybe not. We don't want to make that pointier. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this. How's that proportion feeling? Is that okay? Hard to say. I'm going to scale up just a bit. So here, and then I'm going to take this geometry here, and I'm going to see if I can't, I don't know, do something with it so it's not so weird. So here, let's go ahead and again duplicate this off. I'm going to take these two polygroups here, geometry modified topology, delete hidden. Whoa. Let's do a quick group by normal so I can just get these here. That's what I'm looking for, delete hidden. So now, is there something I can do with this geometry? Let's hold down Control Shift. Let's go in here to slice curve. And this is where we get into like just kind of playing around, which may not be that productive here. Let's see, delete hidden, ZRemesh, same, keep groups. Think. Let's delete that. Let's do this. I'm going to duplicate this off. This is the lazy man's solution here. So Control Shift, go in here to slice curve, which we've already done on the ship already. I'm going to take maybe this part here. Let's do Shift D. Go into solo mode, Control Shift Tab, geometry modified topology, delete hidden. We have one side capped. Let's go ahead and cap the other side with a close convex hole. Oops. Geometry modified topology, mirror and weld. Of course, I hate when it does that. Let's take these, Control Shift drag over this, Control Shift drag. Let's say delete hidden. Let's go in here to weld points, closed circle, crank that weld distance up until those things weld. There we go. Mirror and weld. Okay, and then group by normals here. Oh, sorry, cap. So cap, crease polygroup is fine, and then go through here and we'll just say Q mesh polygroup all and just hold down Shift and pull along here. So now it's somewhat integrated. Let's go ahead and bevel here, and let's do another round. How fancy do I want to get with this? And what's the front of that supposed to look like? Let's put, I do like the rope on one of these here. Which should be fairly easy. So I'm going to duplicate this off. I'm going to hold down Control Shift. Let's hold down Spacebar, brush radius. Let's go into solo mode. And I can use my brush radius to kind of slice in. Actually, if you wanted to do like ropes like this, you could do slices. But really what I'm looking for is just like this. So I'll take both of these, geometry modified topology, delete hidden, hit W, go to unmask mesh center, and we can just scale here. Actually, that's not going to work. Deleted here, duplicate, Shift D, slice curve. I just want a rope to go from here to maybe here. So give me just the red, geometry modified topology, delete hidden. Let's go in here to insert multiple edge loops, keep our polygroup, and I'm just going to think about yay wide. Let's go through here and we'll say polygroup polyloop, and then tap every other one. So you could go through here and you could do like an inset polygroup, and we should probably cap this first, then you can just make it like ribbed. Or what you could do is you could come through here and you could say bevel here, here, here. Let's isolate you. Ugh, sorry. Keep polygroup. Delete hidden, and then I do like to have these capped. Control, oh, of course. Polygroup, come on. Here, Control W. So now, you know what? Let's do this all at the same time. You, and you, all one polygroup. So now, go out of solo mode here. We can do an inset polygroup all, and then we can do a Q mesh polygroup all, and then I can do a Q mesh polygroup all. So that'll keep them all separate. And then you know what? We can also just go down mesh with center, and I can squeeze these down just a bit. And then D for dynamic, and those will kind of be ropes that we can play around with later. At least a block out. Still not happy with this. Oh, I don't know how much exploration I should do with this too to integrate this. Is there any quick and easy? You know what? Let's try duplicating this off. I'm going to grab this here, delete hidden. Oops, group by normals. Delete hidden. I'm going to slice. Straight line, mirror and weld just in case, isolate, delete hidden, keep group smooth groups, insert, alt, and you know what, let's do half. Low as you're going? Okay, fair enough. Here down the middle, every other one. I'm just putting like a trim piece in here, and we'll say Q mesh or extrude all polygons here out. And then for the middle piece, again, I don't mind it. Let's say polygroup all. Okay, I can deal with this. So let's go ahead here, group by normals, max bend angle down. So I got these. I'm going to say crease here. We're going to turn on dynamic with 15, get a lot of really nice stuff here. And then we're going to integrate this a little bit better. So we're going to take this piece here. We're going to duplicate it off. Again, we're going to run a crease tolerance, crease PG, turn on dynamic here. And I'm going to take this polygroup here, and we're going to hold down shift and pull along that surface normal. And then we're going to set this to subtractive. So now if I turn on live Boolean, that'll go ahead and slice through, and it'll make it feel intentional, right? Ish. So, okay, I think I got this. So let's say live Boolean here. I'm going to hold down shift, shoot that to the bottom, alt tap this one, shift, shoot at the bottom, move it up one, subtractive, turn everything else off except for these. This one here, I'm going to go ahead and hit D for dynamic, and we'll do a smooth subdiv of 3. So very smooth. Live Boolean, we're going to say make me a Boolean mesh with dynamic subdivision on. We'll go ahead and append the resulting U mesh here. Oops, append, select it. And then maybe we can do like ZRemesh half, depth size down to 0, keep group, smooth groups. Give her some new geometry back. We'll go ahead and say, yeah, crease BG, crease level of 2, smooth subdiv of 3. And now I've got, oops, crease level of 2, smooth subdiv of 3, yes. And so now I can say you are deleted, turn everything else back on. And now at least it looks like, you know, somebody thought about it. It's not great, but let's say crease PG and crease Q mesh or extrude along here. And for this down here, let's do this. Let's say, go into solo mode. I'm going to do a quick group by normals. And we're going to do an inset. Polygroup all legacy. Pull this in a little bit, and then we'll say, you know, let's pull it in more. And then we'll say Q mesh. Oh, my tummy's growling. Let's say crease PG, D. Okay, and I can fix all that. Okay, this is all fixable. Okay, turn everything else back on. This should just be placeholder. Turn that off. Okay, it's starting to come together. We got a nice little cute ship. Feel like I need more ropes. There's a lot of really cool ropes on here. So this is going to be the floating version. And by floating, I mean floating in water. And then we're going to do a flying version, which is going to be floating in air. So for the floating in water version, I think we're pretty close. We just need a few more ropes. So let me look and see where ropes should go. And I'm kind of looking here. So off to the side, like ropes you can climb up. And we can actually use these two maybe. And those will be, yeah, maybe up to here. Yeah, okay, so is there a cool way to make ropes? Let's call it micropoly? Edges? That's kind of a tough one actually now that I look at it. Okay, let's do this. I'm just gonna grab a plane. We're going to push it on here. We're gonna say split mass points. We're going to scale it up here. And we're basically gonna go from, and just so I can see it a little bit better, I'm gonna go down here to geometry. How are we doing on time? Okay, 15 more minutes. Dynamic, smooth off, thickness up. So again, I can see it. So we basically want to take these points and stick them on the crow's nest, and then the invert of those points and put them on these two rigging points here. Oh my God. Come on, man. You go here. You go down here. You rotate. You scale. And then also you scale some more up top because it's going to taper a little bit. All right, I think that works. Let's move these in just a tiny bit. There we go. Something like this. Now, I need to turn this into, let's turn off thickness here. Let's go in here and we'll say insert multiple edge loops, no interactive elevation. We just want it to go straight. Unmask. That looks about right. And climb up that. Insert multiple edge loops, keep polygroup just one down the middle here. Those aren't close enough. Let's do one down the middle first so I can gauge how far apart these are going to be. Yeah, something like here-ish. That's fine. Now, it's easy enough to go through here and you can say like inset polygroup all and just inset every polygon. So say each poly, and then you can just get rid of the blue. But is that going to be correct for... Let's see if there's a better option. I'm going to go in here to dynamic, and we're going to go in here to micro poly, and I'm going to choose, is there just like a border? That just replaces them with planes, doesn't it? Scale down. No. Fit and weld is fine. I was thinking, I mean, heck, I could probably just do this and then just get rid of the other stuff too. It's kind of like a weave. Really, it's just ropes. Should I overthink this? Should I overthink this? Let's turn micropoly off. Let's do inset. Let's take this and we'll say delete hidden. Let's try this. Same. Can you give me, oh, beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you, ZRemesher, for being everything that I do. We'll go ahead and say extrude polygroup all here. And the cool thing is too, we want these to kind of sag in the middle, so I can literally just take my mask pin and we can just grab all of these points here. Let's go into solo mode. And I'm just going to pull these down so they kind of sag. And they don't have to be uniform or anything like that. You can go in and just kind of manually tweak things around a little bit. And also there's going to be like knots on the corner, which I can maybe do with Dynamesh, we'll see. Or not Dynamesh, but Nanomesh. But we're still down the axis, so that's fine. We'll kind of sag these down a little bit. And then if we want to put knots in the corner, and we can... Actually, before I extrude, let's do this. I'm going to say, give me all the light blue, please. We'll say delete hidden. I'm going to go through here, and we're going to thin these up. Let's see if we can just slide. Slide. Let's see if we can slide edge. Slide. Edge loop complete. No. Edge loop partial? No. Edge. No. Damn. Well, we can thin these up. What I'm more concerned about right now is putting knots in all these corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this off. I'm going to say I want a knot on all these things here. So we're going to go through and just mark where we want knots. And do we want them down the middle too? Yeah. And this is just going to give the illusion that we actually constructed this, when in reality it's just simple box modeling. We're going to sell it a little bit better than that. So oops. Let's go through here. Let's do a quick bridge U to U, and then we can collapse. Okay. Again, we're just alt painting where we want our knots to go, like so. And we duplicated this off, so I'm going to get rid of all these. We're going to say delete hidden. Now, our plain old ZModeler brush should work for this. So if we go to my ZModeler brush, by default it's just a cube gets drawn on there. So we're going to say insert Nanomesh polygroup all, and we're just going to pull out a cube on all our Nanomesh things, and that's fine because if I go down here to my Nanomesh properties and we say show instance, show placements, it's fine. Let's go in here to edit mesh, and we can even go in here to transform and say, where is it at? Split screen. Go out of solo mode. That's why. We can go in here and I can say, okay, I want to replace this with knots. How do we make knots? Well, you make a ring, and then you say visibility, hide point, invert that, delete hidden, and then we say unify. And then we say control drag out a copy. Now you rotate this around with X symmetry turned off. Unmesh mesh center. There we go. So something like this is a knot, and you can say inflate. So now when we look in here, there's little knots in here. Let's go ahead and inflate this a little bit more. Say auto groups. And is it inflating? Okay, good enough. So let's go out of edit mesh and let's play around with some of these properties, and let's also show placement off. What's going on here? Show instance, show placement. I said don't show placement. Why are you still showing placement? That's okay. That's fine. So we have these knots here, and we also have Z offset. So I want to kind of take this Z offset and put this, kind of bury it at 0. And then we do have a Z rotation. I'm going to go in here to Z variance, and they're just going to kind of be rotated just every which way. Then we can also go in here to scale or size and make some big fat knots along here. And I can go in and move these manually, but I think that'll be enough to sell some sort of illusion. So we're going to go down here to inventory 1 to mesh, and then we're going to control shift click the placement, geometry modified topology, delete hidden, and then back to our original things. We still need to fix this real quick. Again, bridge, edges, and then collapse. Come on, autosave, come on, autosave. And then collapse edge here. File's getting heavy. Then before I leave, let's go through here. Gosh, let's just slide. I don't know. I'm just going to slide to the middle here just to kind of thin these things up. And I can always inflate later on too, once I make this a solid mesh and not just planes, obviously. I'm just kind of sliding to the middle, and then also I can go through and just manually adjust those knots. So again, manual work, brute force. And while I'm doing this, if I was just doing this and like listening to music or watching Deep Space Nine or something, I'd probably be coming up with more elegant solutions. But now my brain is just in blab mode, where I'm like, oh, you're streaming, you gotta fill the noise, fill the dead air with your mouth. And that's when I'm live streaming. My elegant solutions aren't so elegant. Maybe one day I can break out of that mode, but today is not that day. Okay, thinning it up. And again, we're just sliding, so we're still maintaining the surface normal. I could probably go through and do like a mask and move them all at once, but I'm almost done, so to hell with that. Here. All right, so we're gonna make these things round now. So again, let's turn off solo mode. We're in the middle here, that's perfect. So let's say extrude polygroup all. We're gonna extrude out just a bit. And then on the other side, actually, while we extrude out, just tap Alt. I just wanna make sure we have that, and then hold down Shift and pull this back. There we go. And then now if I hit D for dynamic, actually let's do a quick crease. Not a crease PG, just a crease on those corners. So hopefully that'll maintain those corners. And then we're gonna go down to dynamic because it's not, my settings aren't turned on. Geometry, dynamic, smooth subdiv of 2. Wait, uncrease all. And then just crease. You want to crease with a very high. Oh, you know what? Let's do a crease and then uncrease PG. Can I do uncrease PG? I don't do that a lot. Let me see. Pretty sure I can. Ugh. Crease, uncrease PG. There we go. So we can keep our corners creased. Looks like I do have some bad creasing in here, so we'll just say crease edge of complete. Hold down Alt and manually fix some of these. Because again, I want to keep my corners creased, but not the middle parts. We're doing this across the x-axis. All right, and hopefully the corners will be covered up by knots. And like I said, manually I can go through here and just do, gosh, I don't want to do move topological, do I? I just go through here and kind of move this stuff around as needed. But anyway, so we got this, we got rigging, we got sails. All right, I'm gonna call that a day. Just in time, 11:15. Used for hair and texturing. XGen? Not Thursday just yet. We'll finish this out Thursday. I just wanted to do a little bit extra before I had to hop on a phone call. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Hey, from Moscow. What's the difference between divide and dynamic? The divide functions, I'm not sure. Oh, dynamic is just fake. Or preview, I should say. So for example, these look nice and smooth, but it's just a preview. So I can do Shift D and then D to turn it back on. If I want to make it divided or real, hit apply, and now you have real subdivision history. But if I wanted to go through here and be like, oh, I want to insert an edge loop, well, it's going to be a lot harder because I have subdivisions on there. So to keep it less destructive and more editable, just have dynamic turn. Just use dynamic unless you absolutely have to have real subdivisions. Cool. We'll do 6 a.m. Central Time, so whatever that is, 4 a.m. Pacific Time on Thursday. But thanks, everybody. We did part 2, and hello from Egypt. And we'll continue on. You know, we'll put this to bed on Thursday. Maybe even do a little bit of rendering, and then I'll do the balloon version. I think that'll be fun. Cool. Thanks, everybody. And India, all around the world today.